name is Michael Testa, along with my co-counsel Joy Mithami. We represent the, sorry, what is it again? Petitioner, right?
No, you guys are the respondents.
Respondents.
Yeah.
We represent the respondents in this case. Probable cause exists when there is a fair probability that contraband or evidence of a crime will be found in a particular place. The principal component of a determination of probable cause will be the events in which occurred leading up to the stop or search, and then the decision whether these historical facts viewed from the standpoint or are reasonable by a police officer, and if they amount to probable cause.
So before we dive in, really, are you going to be addressing the car more or the house situation?
I will be addressing Jacamar's.
All right, the car search.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Probable cause from a drug detector dog alerts turns on whether the dog accurately and reliably alerts to only contraband.
Can you restate that? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Probable cause from a drug detector dog alert turns on whether the dog accurately and reliably alerts only to contraband.
Okay. So you're saying that like a dog shouldn't be alerting to like M&Ms or something like
Exactly.
that? Okay. Okay.
And that's what they're trained for, to detect contraband, especially out on the field. You wouldn't want a drug detecting dog alerting to M&Ms and there'd be no drugs in the vehicle. When a police officer is using informants to justify a search, they must have reason to believe the information is accurate. The reliability and basis of knowledge of a drug detection dog are not as easy to evaluate as those of two-legged informants. The alert itself does not communicate the dog's basis of knowledge. The dog cannot tell its handler whether the scent is strong or weak, fresh or stale, and the dog cannot later explain its actions.
But it can alert that there are drugs in the car, right?
Correct. It can alert to whether or not there's presence of or absence of contraband.
And even if it's like a weak or strong scent, isn't that enough probable cause to search the vehicle?
It's arguable. With residual odor, there could be residual odor on the vehicle, but that would not give way to actual physical drugs in the car.
So what you're saying is that you think that a dog sniff should not provide probable cause?
Yes.
So that would cause us to have to overrule Cabela's, Place, and Edmonds. So how do you justify overruling those cases? Why is it not a search?
Well,
why does it not provide probable cause?
let me rephrase. It constitutes a search under the Fourth Amendment, but the one in which is not reliable. The dog is not reliable in this particular case. Under totality of the circumstances, this dog is not reliable.
And why is that?
A number of reasons. One of the major reasons is the certification of the dog. There's no national standard of certification that backs up the fact that the dog can be reliable or not.
But they go through a state program, right? Like a state training program.
State training program. They vary among states. Some of them are not as intense, if you will, as others.
Do you think that the Flamingo State is trying to train, like, to put it bluntly, incompetent dogs?
In any case, no. That's not what the state of Flamingo would like to do.
So it's safe to assume that the training program is trying to train competent dogs, since they're going to be using them in the real.
Yes, but it's a very good possibility that these dogs wear out, they become old, they become infallible.
Don't they go through annual, like, training programs, though? I guess to ensure that that doesn't happen?
They do.
And would it benefit a police department to have a dog that isn't reliable, that alerts to when drugs aren't present? Wouldn't that waste the dog's time and the officer's time?
The incentive here would be that the police officer is allowed probable cause. And although it may not be a very good argument that police officers are out to search your car and they'll use anything they can to search your car, but it's very possible that the dog is used to assert probable cause, even if it's infallible. The police officer can use an infallible canine dog just for the mere fact that they want to search the car. if that makes any sense.
Continue.
As argued above, reliability is critical to the probable cause determination, and the Supreme Court of Flamingo properly rejected the state's claims that evidence or training and certification conclusively establishes reliability. A simple telling that a drug detection dog is certified does not on its own establish the dog's reliability for contraband detection in the field.
What would tell us that a dog is reliable? What would we need present to provide it?
Certification by state, not expired, as in this case, the drug detection dog was expired in terms of certification, and simply presence of performance testing in the field, whether or not the dog's actually performing well.
The petitioner mentioned earlier that like field performance records can be like not the greatest. For example, like false positives, they might not really be false positives, and they'll actually learn to residual odors.
These aren't recorded. Yeah. Could you repeat that?
So the petitioner said that field performance records aren't always the most accurate, because even if a dog like has an alert and drugs aren't found in the vehicle, it may have just been like a residual odor.
So you're saying that controlled settings would be best?
Yeah.
So in this case, we affirm that controlled settings would not be best, because in the field you get more, in my mind, more training, more experience, if you will.
But less accuracy. It tells less about how accurate the dog is.
In a way, you could view it as more accurate than the controlled setting too. If a dog alerts to not drugs versus residual odor, and vice versa.
Well, I don't think they train dogs to not alert to residual odor, because the dog just detects like the scent of contraband, so it's going to alert to residual odor if it exists. In fact, that's a good thing that they're alerting to that, because it means they're working.
Yeah, but if there's no contraband present in the vehicle, it would not be a good thing.
Okay.
Say.
Okay.
Right.
My question is though, like I feel like they can't solve the residual odor problem, and so the best way that they train the dogs and show their accuracy is through their controlled settings and their controlled training. So, what makes the field performance? What makes that better? Because it's not going to help the dogs a lot less to residual odor.
Field performance is better simply by the fact that you get more of the actual experience in the field versus in a controlled setting. You're not really going to find controlled settings in the field. I'm sorry, what was that? I can't see.
It was a minute and a half.
Minute, yeah.
So, is that answering your question?
Sure. Yeah, it does.
I will now refer to my co-counsel for the...
Oh, well, can you repeat then your last sentence then, beforehand then? I just want to make sure I heard it.
I'll just end it with this. The Supreme Court of Flamingo's ruling on Jacomara's appeal should therefore be affirmed. Yes.
It's scientifically proven that dogs have better smell sense than regular humans. So in this situation, the dog has smelled the drugs, so would that have been a probable cost?
So are you asking if a dog is more reliable than a human in this case? Obviously, a dog's scent is 10,000 times more powerful than individual humans, but as with humans, dogs get old and their scent wears out, and that's why performance testing in the field is a really good way to get the proper reliance on their reliability in the field.
So would the police not take them
You can finish.
You can finish your question.
would the police not go with the old dog because they'll know it doesn't have good scent?
Yeah, if their sense decreases, police officers probably do not use them in the field as they would with better smelling dogs.
Thank you. You may sit down. Thank you very much.